Again. I don't think I can hear you, Mitchell. Why not?
I caught you there.
The house on. Yeah, so I'm using my Wi-Fi's connection.
Because I reckon they're struggling.
I'd like to welcome everybody down to the Lockleys Oval where we've got a Division 1 match. It's the home of the Eagles. We've already had a couple of pitches. There's a ball and a strike on the lead. I'm Mark McGarry. I'm joined here today by the West Torrens president.
So hopefully have another good one here.
And there's a strike. Tom McGarry is behind the dish. Austin Gallagher's getting out under it, and it's a pop-up. The best for the new year, the coming year. I know that we've had a pretty busy, they're looking forward to 2025 with vigour. Second bat in the outfield, we've got Joel Chapman out at left field to Hutchings. Going around the infield, as I said, Clavel's the starting pitcher, Tom McGarry. And third base is being held down by Jacob Scott. Chapman, a big promise for the second half of the season. Both teams the game. And we've now got top of the first innings. Season?
Not so much actually, Mark. Yeah, fairly relaxing. We start. It was a good break. Time to recharge and reset.
Sounds like West Torrens do have to be off, which stretches out the league and finds the depth of first hit of the match. And with two out, Southern District in the warm-up, JT, but I think he is.
Yeah.
Southern District in the warm-up, JT, but I think he is.
Yeah.
Being in the four hole. Hutchings before him, 341.
Certainly going to get your value for money today. Nice little breeze pushing out to centre left.
Ball's in the dirt. McGarry picks it up. Still two out. Not blowing as strongly as it normally does, JT, but I can certainly feel a slight... I'm in holiday mode, I must admit. Each day tends to blend.
In the Div 2 game with Ryan Broom hitting a
walk-off
straightaway home run.
In the batter's box. Up and draws the walk. Given up a hit and a walk. It's a ground ball to Jacob Scott, who top of the first gives up no runs, just the one hit to Drew Davies, and gives up no runs, just the one hit to Drew Davies and a walk.
It creates stress, and they never give up. So he's probably
grind, and it's one of the reasons they're doing such a good job on top at the moment. Half a game clear. The reasons they're doing such a good job on top at the moment. Half a game clear of Sturt and Southern Districts. West Torrens are sitting in 5th, and I think it was Port Adelaide that are in 6th spot. So a bit of Souths.
They actually lost the first
game.
They lost the first. They won 9 in a row. So arguably the best or the most informed team in the
start. As the starting picture, Matt Hutchings out. I'll need to look up on the. And does a great job and takes a single out to centre over for the national titles in Sydney next week. I think his dad top. And who's the other one?
Carter Rowe.
Forgive me, Carter. I remember with great fondness the times that we were over there with it to the end of college. If you're not playing professional baseball, you're done. Coaching, or they're working somewhere else. So it's great that we can still have the batter in the box at the moment. McFarlane's
an incredible start to the season. Battled his way in.
Recruiting session over there. So start to this game. McGarry, I think that was his second strike.
Yeah.
Smith. Blocked by Hattersley. McFarlane stays put.
Really enjoying hitting in front of Austin Gallagher. Seeing a few more pitches.
Port Adelaide earlier in the season when he hit 3 home runs. Gets out to right field. Now have runners at first and third with 1 out. Austin Gallagher. Nick Hutchings. Found the league. We've had some good starts elsewhere. Northern Districts and East Torrens, Port and Kensington are tied. Woodville and Glenelg are tied. 1. Once again, we've got runners at first and third. We've had 2 hits. Another Gallagher. Gallagher has been over the fence a couple of times here. In fact,
that's hit solid.
That's a pretty solid hit, but it's not going to go over. It's over. Excuse me. There you go.
There's that little breeze that we were talking about earlier.
Your interlocutor decided it was only a ground rule double. Austin Gallagher. He's got a bit of venom behind it now. He's obviously fairly annoyed at giving up. Second out. Both McGarrys have contributed the out. Now, there's a question from Coach Scott as to whether that ball was caught. Yeah. Vandercoo confirms. No, Jacob Scott with 2 out. No runners on. Looking down the lines. So thankfully work as a team. So there's a few that have handled its way. Nathan's over in Canberra. Innings. West Torrens record 3 runs on 3 hits. Jamie?
Start is exactly what the doctor ordered from our perspective. So absolutely.
A dogged side, and they don't win 9 games in a row without ability. As you're looking around the field, they certainly have that. All right, welcome back to Lockleys Oval. We're at the top of the second innings after a 3-hit, 3-run innings from West Torrens after Mason Clavell gave up one hit to Drew Davies but was able to hold them to 0. And Luke Hansen is the batter for a called first strike. Number 33, Hansen, is the second baseman. He's batting 205 on the season. Quickly behind 0-2. High and inside. Just off. 2-2 on Luke Hansen, lead-off hitter of the top of the second baseman for Southern Districts. Ground ball to Jacob Scott. It's a fair ball, and he's untroubled getting it across to Austin Gallagher. 5-3, first out. Jammed in the pitching stroke by Clavell. And we now have the third baseman, Ben Short. Shorty batting 268 on the season. I know he's had a home run, at least one that I've read about. Just off. 1-0. One and one on third baseman Ben Short. Number 2. Nice little off-speed pitch from Clavell. Catches Short looking. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
After going 3-0 up, he's really attacking the hitters here. He's really going straight at them.
Can't blame him for that. It's where the run pressure becomes so important, doesn't it?
Absolutely, and that's exactly what you want from your starting pitcher. You put some runs on the board. Hitters.
2-2. Just drag that one down to run the count full. Kim Smith behind the plate. Paul van der Koo down at first. And a good comeback from Short as he lays off that high inside pitch. Got behind quickly, but worked his way through to get down to first. Jamie, the ground's looking absolutely immaculate. Obviously, there's been a lot of dedicated work from a lot of people at the club. Anybody in particular you want to mention?
Oh, well, there's all Clive Feevick runs around like his blue-ass fly around here and puts in a lot of hours to make it look like this. But as you know, with the football, they tear it up. Certainly in the winter time, just through the nature of their sport, and it always takes a bit of time to recover. But
usually by this time of the year, though, it bounces back and starts to look magnificent for the back half of the season.
And Clive and his team have done a magnificent job.
So I did notice before the game that we've suddenly got water supply behind the mound, which we've not had. I've been here since 2006. That's the first time we've actually had water out there. It makes a big difference. So a nice setup. Ground's looking good, Nick. There's a few bare patches, but I guess you can't have everything. 2 balls, 1 strike at the moment.
Yeah, Jack Van der Linden also. I should mention Jack. He's put in a lot of hours, but they've actually, the reason for a few little spots around is because they've put some new AstroTurf out the front, which when people come and visit the place, they'll see some AstroTurf behind the cutout, and that's kind of messed with the sprinkler system. They've covered a couple of sprinklers. So, they're just adjusting to that now, so hopefully it won't be too long before that bounces back.
2 balls, 2 strikes on Byron Turner, the right fielder. Turner pops it up, but that's going to go foul. 1 hand, 1 bounce off the net. I don't think that counts at this level. Two balls, 2 strikes. Just up, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Runs the count full for the second time in 2 batters. So that's a reach, little pop-up, and I think it's going to fall fair. And Barker can't handle it. Very nicely placed by Byron Turner. I'm not sure it was entirely intended, but gets the result. And neither Sam McGarry at second or Jude Barker at right were able to get into a position to make the catch. So all of a sudden, we've got runners at first and second with 1 out.
Yeah, just skipped away at the end there. If he'd picked it up on the bounce, there was an opportunity to get us out at second, but just took a bit of a leg break and didn't quite handle it.
I have a feeling this might be the third of the Hutchings. This might be Ashton Hutchings. I'll stand corrected if I'm wrong, but I have a feeling it is. In the 9 hole. And it's a ground ball. 6-4. So he moves the runner up on a fielder's choice as we bring Jake Campbell now back to the plate as we head back to the top of the lineup. No damage being done yet to the little flare, but still Campbell is a very reliable hitter. Popped up to Austin Gallagher in the first. Just off the plate for our first pitch. Ball. Ben Short is the runner at third. He was the one who got 0-2 behind and worked a walk. Well done to him. He's managed to get to third. Now they're just off the plate. Two balls, no strikes.
Knocked the crap out of that one.
And Clavel induces a swing which chops the ball foul down the third base side for a 2-1 count. Nice little off-speed pitch from Clavel, which Campbell chooses to ignore. 2-2. Runners at first and third. 2 out. Top of the second. Campbell lines it to McGarry, who flips it across to Balin Thomas at shortstop for the out to wind up the innings, and no runs are scored. So JT, that was a bit of a breather, I suppose. One of those things that happens, you know, if you get yourself in a batter's count, you've got to find your way to come back. He was backed up by his field there.
Yeah, really good at bat. That second at bat to induce that walk. You know, comes out 0-2. Pitcher being really aggressive, and to get that walk was huge. That could have started some runs for South. And then you get that flare, and they're the kind of at-bats that really start rallies. But Mason really dug deep and was able to get out of it, which he'd be pretty happy with. But, yeah, very impressive at-bat, that one, to get to a walk. West Torrens be hoping to tag 1 or 2 more on here and really try and break this game open early, given that South will always fight back.
Always a delight to come here during the new year, Jamie, and look along and see the legends of West Torrens standing along the balcony. Brian Scott. I see Tyrone Hambley's family's here today, his parents, and they've been stalwarts of this club for so many years now, and it's always great to see them back. Obviously, they're not here every week like they used to be, but it's always great when they are here. Mind you, Charlie's here a lot, isn't he?
Charlie is here a lot.
When Jacob's playing.
Absolutely. No, It's great to see. It's great to have a chat to them. They love having a chat and
well, they still
talking
know
about the old
game
days.
so well,
Don't they?
Yeah, they love it.
Yeah.
There's love where the new players are taking it, and we are certainly in a period of transition. I think we'd have to say that. You and I were talking about it before the game today, JT. With the arrival of the likes of Balin, your son, Toby Cordicus is an up-and-comer in B grade. Harrison Tainty's very looking certainly through the lower grades now, and I see the kids come. And swings through that and picked up by Brett Hattersley and thrown out at first on a 2-3 for the second out. And West Torrens heads back to the top of the order with James McFarlane, who did lead off at the beginning of the game with a single to centre field. Jude Barker is still at second. And McFarlane to face Nick Hutchings. Because Hutchings is a cunning pitcher, JT. He'll vary his lengths of his delivery times. He'll keep them watching. He'll make them stand there a long time. Then he'll be a bit quicker in his pitch. He varies the whole thing. He doesn't just mix up his pitches. He misses the time he takes to deliver. Just trying to keep the batter off balance each time. That was inside.
It's been around for a long time. He would know.
Many years ago. He came back and had a bit of a run through of the Giants, as a lot of Division 1 players have in Baseball SA. It's a nice pitch.
Oop. Yeah, you're going to have to earn your hits today. Nick is not going to give you any easy at-bats.
1 ball, 2 strikes on McFarlane. 2 out. Bottom of the second. West Torrens leading 3-0. And gets him to ground to Luke Hanson at second to end the innings. And strands Jude Barker out there. So no run that time for West Torrens. They still have a 3 to love lead going into the third inning as we take a break here at Lockleys Oval. And welcome back to Lockleys Oval. We're in the top of the third inning. West Torrens hold a 3-0 lead. They've had 4 hits to Southern District's 2. Mason Clavel's on the mound at the moment, and the batter up is Matt Hutchings, the number 2 hitter. Hutchie, of course, grew up as a Southern Districts boy. Went away. He was part of the ice-breaking national title-holding team that won the first Little League title way back, 2011, I think it was. That Sam was part of. Geordie Mercado was part of it. Mason Pickard, a hell of a team, let me tell you. Declan Richter. Really, really good team. Of course, they won that. And Matt, of course, was an outfielder in that side. Unfortunately, even though they won the tournament, because of the Bali bombings, Baseball Australia were reluctant to send a team into Indonesia because the tournament was at Surabaya, and unfortunately we weren't allowed to travel. They did send us to New Zealand. That's a strikeout by Clavel on Hutchings. We went to New Zealand and we ended up playing New Zealand. The thing that galled everybody, of course, was when we played them, we absolutely destroyed New Zealand. And they said, "Oh, you guys should have gone, you would have won," you know. And then, of course, the next year with Geordie Mercado backing up for his second year and a lot of the youngsters returning again, they did win it and went off to Guam under the coaching of the great Berg Webber.
Oh.
Got Drew Davies here, Cincinnati Red signing. I'm sure he'll be heading off to the US in spring training in February. Called strike on that one.
Well, his mate Nick Paparella will be heading off shortly to college, which is why he's not playing today. They'll be missing him for the remainder of the year. That's a big part of their batting lineup out. But having Drew there certainly doesn't hurt, does it?
No, that's right. Doesn't help oppositions,
no.
But certainly doesn't hurt Souths. And Paparella. Davies gets right under it. Oh, Balin Thomas nearly got there. Joel Chapman wasn't going to get there. They get the ball in, and that's a fly ball single to Davies, who's now been 2 for 2. Great effort by Balin, just didn't quite get under it. And Joel Chapman was not going to get there. So well placed by Davies. As you say, the desire of the kids to play at the best level they can is absolutely understandable, and you can totally understand why, if they don't get the opportunity to play professionally straight away, that they certainly are keen on following their dreams through to the US. In fact, I think most coaches from the US now are encouraging them to think that way, so that you've always got that academic backup.
Oh, 100%. There's a nice hit down the left field. Oh, ended up getting fielded at shortstop.
Yeah, so back-to-back hits from Davies and the Eagle killer, Brett Hattersley. And all of a sudden, with one out, we've got runners at first and second.
Yeah, that college pathway is becoming very, very popular. It's very rare for our young guys to get signed straight out of sort of basically high school here.
Or here. So Curtis Mead is the obvious,
Curtis is the obvious exception. You know, Drew Davies was signed straight out, but it's fairly rare, and not all kids are as developed as those two were at the time.
And certainly at this club, we've had obviously Mead go and sign in the Tampa Bay, or he's playing, he was signed by the Phillies, playing in the Tampa Bay organisation at the moment. Mitch Newborn is playing in the Phillies organisation. Yep. Mitch is here today, still on holidays.
Saw him walking around before. He heads off shortly, I think.
Curtis, I know, has put on a lot of weight. One of his goals over the summer was to try and put enough poundage on to get him over the fence when he was batting.
Well, I'm sure he enjoyed Christmas dinner then.
He did. And breakfast and lunch. And no, just joking. He looks fantastic. He's been working out in his home gym. It was also great to see Max Stagg from West Torrens, who's currently overseas at college. He's another example of of a person who's following his dream internationally, and fantastic for him. Called strike, 2-2.
Yeah, he heads back on Tuesday.
So it's been great to see him.
States.
Wonderful they came home. I remember when Tom used to come back, and he always loved dropping in. And he was gone for 5 years. But as I said, came back, had his degree, no HECS debt, and started work. So it was a perfect situation for him. And is still able to play. He's 30 years old now. And been part of 2 premiership teams, which has been exceptional for him. So I'm looking around the field. Obviously Galley's had international experience, but whether I know James McFarlane will be chased. He'll be a real asset. I'm sure Balin will be like to take the opportunity. Maybe Joel has played in Czech Republic. Jacob Scott and Jude Barker and Sam McGarry probably the only ones who are really not pursuing or didn't pursue college options. It's a swing through, foul.
Yeah, it's been great to see Max come back. Not only did he come back, but he's come back and he's been umpiring. He's been out at junior trainings. The kids absolutely love him. He's been helping out with there. So, what a great person to come back and give up a bit of his time for our kids.
Full count here on Kiwakama. Excuse me if I got that wrong. And he draws a walk. So to load the bases up with 1 out. And coming to the plate now is Luke Hansen. Second baseman. In the top of the third, there's 1 out. Bases are loaded. Each team's matched each other for hitting. Right in a batter's count now. It's 2-0. And Andrew Scott's called time.
And South have done this every inning so far. They've put runners in position. They've put stress on the pitcher. They'd be really wanting to capitalise here. They haven't quite been able to score in the first couple of innings, but they've got a big opportunity here to put some runs on the board and get some scoreboard pressure back onto West Torrens.
So Scott's finished his words of wisdom. Gallagher and McGarry. Tom McGarry came out to join in support. It's back to the battle between Mason Clavel and Luke Hansen. 2 balls, no strikes. Bases loaded, 1 out, top of the third. Hansen thought he'd had the free pass.
Probably taken that pitch regardless, I would have thought. On 3-0, but...
still a long way ahead at 3-1.
Yeah.
A lot more work to do for Clavel. And he hits him. There you go. So there's the first run of the game. Manufactured by some good hitting. A little flare from Davies. And then a hit down the line from Hattersley to put the runners on, and then a walk and a hit batter, and all of a sudden we've got a run. As you say, it's the MO. It works for Souths, and they are dogged and gritty the way they do it, but then they back it up. Every time they come out with purpose and batting. So, bases are still loaded. We've still got 1 out, and this time we've got Ben Short, third baseman, at the plate. And Short puts one high. It's going to go out to Barker, who will take the catch. That'll be a sack fly. And Hattersley comes across the plate to pick up the second run. So, sack fly to Ben Short. Kanakiwa has moved up to third. And Hansen stayed at first as a result of that fly ball. So we've got Byron Turner now, veteran right fielder. Called strike on the inside of the plate. Swings at a breaking ball, rips it foul down the third base line. 0-2 for Clavel. Trying to shut down this little rally from Souths. And a swing by Hansen. Sorry, it's not Hansen, it's Byron Turner. And that's the end of the innings. Runners at first and third are left out there. But still 2 hits, resulted in 2 runs. And all of a sudden we now have a 3-2 ball game as we go into the bottom of third. Jamie.
Absolutely. They didn't really hit the ball hard. They just, that flare by Davies just was right in between the 2 fielders. Marlon probably be a bit disappointed he didn't catch that one. Then that hard hit ball down to Scotty again. With his standards that he likes to set, he'd be disappointed he let that one through as well. But they just keep putting pressure on. They put pressure on and put pressure on, and there's 2 runs. They might be a little bit disappointed, to be honest, with only 2. After being in the position they're in, but they've still put scoreboard pressure back onto West Torrens and game on.
Plenty of time left. It's only 2.5 innings gone as we just take a short break at Lockley's Oval.
What I can do is I'll take a step into the field over the line, and then if the ball comes this way, I'll just move the camera back. I mean, how has this been set up previously?
And welcome back to Lockley's Oval as we finish up the preparations for the bottom of the third. We've got Nick Hutchings from Southern Districts started the game. He's been pitching to number 6, Brett Hattersley. And the batter up is the West Torrens catcher, Tom McGarry, who struck out looking in the first.
Ball 1 outside. Nick got through the last innings reasonably comfortably. Obviously that first innings, I don't think even that first innings he would have thrown a lot of pitches. But looked reasonably comfortable last innings. He started with 2 balls here though. Tom would be an intimidating lead-off batter to be thrown to though. Got a lot of power in that bat. You do not want to miss one over the middle of the plate.
Just like that. Yep. Davies very nearly gets it, but coming around, I think he just got there. Great backup from Hansen.
That was nearly an incredible play from the second baseman.
Yeah. Great effort by Davies to very nearly pick it up. He knocked it towards Hansen, who picked it up and McGarry's blinding pace down the first base line. Picked that up from his dad. Just joking. Of course, it's always a competitive game. And great to see everybody kept on their toes. So that's a lead-off hit. Mason Clavell coming up to bat now, facing Nick Hutchings. There's a ball down. Swing and a tip by Clavell. The ball on a strike.
Outfielders showing a lot of respect. They're very deep here. Plenty of grass in front of them.
Trying to entice Clavell to have a yank at that one, try to get that, because Mason can be a pull hitter. Hutchings knows that, and he's going for that outside edge. And it's a ground ball to Campbell, 6-4, and is drawn off the bag. So that just becomes a regulation fielder's choice. McGarry's out at second on the 6-4 ground ball. Clavell safe at first. Which brings up the home run hitter from the first innings, Austin Gallagher. Interesting to note that was probably the only pitch Nick put on the outside of the plate was the one that disappeared.
Indeed.
He came inside virtually every other pitch to Galley, and I can see why now.
Oh boy, that was a big swing.
That might have gone over that gum tree if he'd made contact with that. Yes, a big swing from Gallagher, but swing and a miss, a one strike.
I think the South coaching staff would know putting a ball over right field here is not easy, even for really good power hitters. So, you know, they probably look at their chances of busting him in and flying out to right field probably better than allowing him to release his hands over centre left.
Yep. Well, the one thing you say about Austin's batting, he's not going to die wondering. Anything he sees in the zone, he's going to have a good look at. Puts him in an 0-2 hole, but I'm sure he's been there before. Hutchings to Gallagher.
And that's a jam shot.
Jammed it, and it's gone exactly what you called.
Yep.
To Byron Turner out there at right field for an F9. 2 out, bottom of the third innings. So we've got Mason Clavell still at first, and the next hitter is Sam McGarry, our second baseman, number 3. Of course, Nick and Sam played underage baseball with South Australia. Nick was always the year older than Sam. Inside channel. Again, not a silly move to Sam McGarry, who does hit well, go the other way. 1-1. Breaking ball freezes McGarry, and he takes the second strike. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Just to clean up the inning by Hutchings. Ball up. And Clavell steals second. 2-2 on Sam McGarry.
Probably just not paying enough attention then to to Clavell at first. He doesn't steal a lot of bases, but probably noticed that they weren't paying him a lot of attention and took advantage.
So Sam's worked it through to a full count. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Nick Hutchings trying to clean up the innings without any further damage, as Torrens have a runner at second in scoring position. And McGarry swings through it. And a great pitch from Hutchings to get out of the trouble and retire the side with no further run. So we turn after 3 innings, first third of the game. West Torrens are leading Southern Districts 3 runs to 2. They're leading them 5 hits to 4 as we take a short break from the Lockleys Oval. Welcome back to Lockleys Oval, where we've had a positional change at the innings break, and the starting pitcher Mason Clavell, who's thrown 72 pitches and has been replaced. Clavell gave up 4 hits for 2 earned runs, walked 3, struck 3 out. He's been replaced by Carter Rowe, number 23. Clavell will stay in the game as a DH. That's a foul. This is the younger of the Hutchings, I believe, Ashton. Not actually listed on any of the official records, but I'm sure he will be after today if this is his first game. I had thought he'd played before.
I do think I've seen his name.
Just not listed here. But that's all right. I have seen him certainly in B grade. He's 0-2 behind Carter Rowe now. But picks up a lovely little chink for a single out to left field, and there he gets on the way for his first hit of the day. And a lead-off hit to Southern Districts, who love that, with Jake Campbell. And of course they've certainly got some speed on the bases, the Southern Districts boys. So they'll be looking to try and capitalise on that. So that's a 5th hit to Souths now. Carter Rowe to Jake Campbell. Inside.
Oh. Tom just deciding to throw it to second base instead of the pitcher there. Luckily Sam was on the ball.
It's a strike looked at by Campbell. 1-1.
I'm not sure if Carter's on any pitch count from the state thing, but he'd be looking to have a nice outing here going into the state tournament next week.
Keeps young Hutchings honest at first base. So you see Carter will be primarily used as a pitcher in the national tournament. It's another called strike. Breaking ball crossing the plate.
Without being in the inner sanctum, I expect so. I expect he'd be primarily a pitcher, but is obviously good enough to play in the field.
Can play in the field. Of course he can.
So
I didn't mean that.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the coaches are looking at him as far as in the field, but certainly he's going to do a bit of work on the mound for him, that's for sure.
2-2 here. Runner at first, none out. Jake Campbell at the plate. Matt Hutchings in the hole. Top of the fourth innings. And Jake Campbell picks up a big hit there, and that one's gone all the way for a 2-run bomb. Hits the top of the fence and goes over. And all of a sudden, Southern Districts are in the lead. 4-3 with none out in the top of the fourth innings. McFarlane had no chance on that one. He had a good read, and he was motoring back and hit the top of the fence and kept going.
No, that was hit quick. That got out of the park pretty quick. There was no way he was going to get back to the fence to have a play on that one.
So your prediction about being hitter-friendly in these conditions, I think you're right. You get hold of the ball, it's going to fly. We've now got Matt Hutchings taking the first pitch for a ball from Carter Rowe. That's an off-speed pitch, which Hutchings watches into McGarry's glove for a called strike, 1-1. In the dirt outside, 2-1. Two balls, one strike, none out. Top of the fourth innings, Southern Districts leading the game now, 4-3. On 6 hits to 5. And now Hutchings has joined in the game, and he's got plenty of pace. He'll certainly hit second base just as the ball's picked up, and stands up comfortably with a stand-up double.
They've certainly broken the bats out in this innings. They're hitting the barrel.
It's 3 hits in a row.
Yep.
A single to Ashton Hutchings. Home run to the leadoff hitter, Jake Campbell. And then a double to the second hitter in Matt Hutchings, a centre fielder. And now Drew Davies comes to the plate, and there are none out. So they'd be salivating at this one. McGarry's gone out to have a chat with Carter Rowe, and just to get him refocused on what's happening. So I'm not sure Coach Andrew Scott would have been expecting this turn of events, but of course it is what it is. And with Clavell having racked up 70 pitches early, forced his hand in bringing Rowe into the game at this stage. Maybe a bit earlier than he wanted to, but it's a nice off-speed pitch over the plate for a called strike. Another off-speed pitch, this time floating to the outside of the plate. Davies has nothing to do with it, 1-1. Matt Hutchings from South, centre fielder, he's out at second base. Davies has a big hag at that one. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
And that slight breeze we were talking about before has disappeared. There is not a breath of wind down here now. Not that Drew needs any wind.
It's one of those baking heat inversions, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I think the temperature's dropped from what it was in the B grade and C and Division 3 games. I think it was pretty hot, certainly when the sun came out. Over at the scorer's tent. Off speed, in the dirt, off the plate, 2-2. Drew Davies for Southern Districts, number 11, the first baseman. Cincinnati Red, prospect. Out at second base, Matt Hutchings, number 12, the centre fielder, who doubled in his last at bat. And that's a pretty big foul, a pretty big strike. I think if he'd hit that one straight, she would have landed just about into the lawn bowls.
That has gone a long, long way. That would have almost gone into the bowling club.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Drew Davies. An enormous piece of it. Off speed. Out of the zone. 3 balls, 2 strikes. So 4 batters, 3 hits and a walk. And Coach Feebig is coming out to have a chat. I don't see anyone warming up to the left there, although I can see Mitch Neuenborn, but sadly he's not in uniform.
Yeah, it'd be nice to have him out there, but not today. After that foul ball, I think they wanted to be a little bit fine with Drew, with an open bag at 1. Whilst that walk could come back to haunt them, it also creates a double play opportunity here. So,
and with none out, they need everything they can get.
Yep.
All right, consultation over. We've got Carter Rowe on the mound. This is his 20th pitch. There's a called strike on Brett Hattersley. Hattersley has a hack at that one, fouls it back. 0-2. Off speed, just out of the zone, up high for a 1 ball, 2 strike call from Kim Smith. And
that's
Hattersley.
gone a long way. If it stays,
It's hit the foul pole. That's a home run. As I said earlier, Hattersley is an eagle killer. I rarely see him not get multiple hits against West Torrens, and he hasn't let us down today. Roped one along the third base line earlier on in the third innings, I beg your pardon, and has just hit the left field foul pole for a 3-run bomb. which leaves Carter Rowe in a situation where he's now got no outs and has conceded 5 runs. Unfortunately for him.
He's got himself in front of a few counts. He just hasn't quite had that pitch to finish him off, or made the hitter swing at a pitch they didn't want to hit.
Well, the ones they've swung at have gone out of the park. Davies went a bit fine. There's a foul off to the left. And all of a sudden the game's broken open. The Souths, after a very tight first 3 innings, are now all of a sudden leading 7-3. 5 runs so far in the 4th. Iwakama fouls off that pitch. He's on an 0-2 count. And he foul tips it into McGarry's glove for a much relieved and longed for out. The first out of the 4th innings. Not before 5 runs have been posted. And still batting to come in the form of Luke Hanson, the second baseman, and Ben Short behind him. So 1 out, top of the 4th innings. So far 5 runs have been scored this inning. South lead 7-3.
Once again in front of the hitter.
Yep.
Just needs to make sure he doesn't leave one over the plate.
He's got to find that way of converting an 0-2 count into an out. That's a ground ball to Balin Thomas, who picks it up cleanly. Unfortunately, Gallagher can't handle the throw, and Hanson makes it safely to first base.
Much better pitch then from Carter.
Yeah.
Making him swing at something that he wants him to swing at rather than leaving something and letting him have a free swing.
Yes, he would certainly have preferred to have not had the runner get onto first and have picked up the second out, but that's baseball. Just off. Ben Short is batting. That's a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. Attempted pick off. Hanson was pretty safe. Ben Short, third base. Called strike. Nice little. His off-speed stuff is really nice.
Absolutely, that's what he was relying on. When he's throwing his off-speed for strikes, he's always in the game.
There's another one to Thomas. 6-4. And a fielder's choice for the second out. It'll be a relief for the team. Balin and for Sam. And not least for Carter Rowe, who's had to work hard. His pitch count has left my screen, but must be in the 30s, which is a lot of work for a young fella in 1 innings. There's Byron Thomas, the right fielder. Sorry, Turner. Byron Turner, the right fielder. Well, pitch puts Ben Short at second base. And 2 balls in the count. Still only 2 out. There's a called strike. Again, off speed, just finding the edge of the plate. Swing and a miss from Turner. 2-2 with 2 out, runner at second. It's a ground ball. Valen Thomas, shortstop. No troubles this time. To Austin Gallagher at first, and finally Southern Districts are retired, but not before putting on 5 big runs from 2 home runs. The unfortunate pitcher was Carter Rowe. They've now got 8 hits to 5. Some good hitting, Jamie.
Some very good hitting, and I actually thought Carter pitched okay. He just left a couple of pitches when he's in front of the hitter too much over the plate, and when you're doing that in Division 1 baseball, unfortunately they're going to make you pay. So he'll learn a lot from that, but there's a lot to like about him. He throws some good off speed for strikes and can get ahead of hitters. Once he works out how to get them to swing at the pitch he wants to, then he's going to be a very effective pitcher for us.
All right, we go to the bottom of the 4th, where probably a bit of a shell-shocked West Torrens now have to try and make up some ground of their own, trailing by 4. Of course, not insurmountable. Plenty of baseball left. There's still 6 innings to go. And Nick Hutchings is about halfway through his allocation. I think after Christmas the allocation goes up to 125, if I'm right.
I think that actually was taken out this year, right? So I think the 125 limit was from the get-go.
From the beginning?
Right, from the beginning. No, it'd be interesting to see with no Twilight Tuesday. It'd be interesting to see how far they go with Nick here.
Yeah.
Obviously, they've got their import that can throw. I'm assuming they're hoping to get through the game with just the 2 pitches. Mitch Evans, who closed out the game against us in the early round, second round, he pitched B grade and had a good outing, so he'll be off to the youth tournament on Tuesday.
And it's Jacob Scott now. Hutchings fires one just outside into the dirt. Scott does not offer, and it's a ball. And comes into there. Campbell picks the ball up and makes a regulation out, 6-3. Scott's retired on 2 pitches.
Maybe.
Left fielder Joel Chapman takes up the cudgels. Exactly what Hutchings would have been hoping for. 2 pitches to get the first out. Comes straight in the middle, as you were saying earlier with Clavel. Now Hutchings is going straight for the jugular and trying to get ahead, which he's doing. 0-1. Chapman throws the bat at it. All he manages to do is pop it up gently to Drew Davies at first, and 4 pitches. West Torrens going down without much response to the long pitch long innings that Carter Rowe just had to face, which is exactly what Southall.
Oh, Nick Hutchins would have been licking his lips when he was watching those runs come over, knowing that he can go straight at these hitters. And look, if someone hits one over the fence, so be it. That's only one run.
Jude Barker gets one, but straight up. So 5-pitch inning that was for, and probably could not have asked for a better reply from Southern Districts if West Torrens just succumb in 5 pitches.
And that's exactly what Nick would have been thinking about going out there. I'm going to be really aggressive, make them swing early, and that's the benefit you get. Walk off after 5 pitches, put West Torrens back out in the field where they've just spent a good 20 minutes or so.
And go and enjoy another 5 or 15 minutes.
Yeah.
All right, we'll take a break as we head to the 5th. All right, here we are back at Lockleys to begin the 5th innings, where currently Southern Districts are leading West Torrens 7 runs to 3. We've got a few positional changes after the last inning that cost Carter Rowe 5 runs. He's been taken out of the game to be replaced on the mound by left fielder Joel Chapman. So Chapman's come in to pitch. The DH, Mason Clavel, has come into the game to play at left field. So that'll be just a straight change. 7 to 1 and DH to 7. So Ashton Hutchings is back again and immediately turns on the first pitch he sees and belts it down to the third base line for an 0-1. Ball outside. Chapman's able to entice that swing. Ball looked like it was coming in. Hutchings thought he could get it, but it kept going. 1-2. Ground ball. Jacob Scott takes it. A double pump, doesn't get the in time. So that'll be recorded as another hit. And we're back to the top of the lineup. Home run hitter Jake Campbell. 2-run bomb when last Ashton Hutchings was on the plate, and he fouls that off.
A throwing error from Scotty at third. It was really not what we needed at the start, or West Torrens needed at the start of this inning. Really wanting to have a cheap inning to get back into the batting box to try and put some scoreboard pressure on. But here we are again. with more runners on. I don't think we've had an inning where Souths have not had runners on.
First inning, I don't think the lead-off got on, but you're right. I think the set 2 outs they got on, just didn't score. Time called by catcher Tom McGarry at that point. 2 strikes on Jake Campbell. Joel Chapman on the mound. Off speed inside and high. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Ashton Hutchings is at first. None out. Ball on the dirt. McGarry picks it up. Shapes to throw to first, but not necessary. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Jake Campbell. Six to 4 to 3, but got safe. Didn't quite make it. All right, so there's the first out. Hutchings, in spite of his speed, was not able to get through in time. Balin Thomas got it to Sam McGarry, who tried to convert the double play, but Campbell is pretty quick on the bases. I will give him that. For the first out of the innings, fielder's choice, Matt Hutchings, who hit in that damaging 4th innings for Souths. And that's a surprise. Campbell took off very quickly. He's got a lot of pace. Called strike. Runner at second, 1 out. And a foul by Matt Hutchings. Two strikes on the batter. Joel Chapman pitching. Jake Campbell, the runner, at second for Souths. So with Hutchings getting a free pass, compliments of a hit by pitch ball. Now leaves a threatening Drew Davies to take up the cudgels with runners at first and second. Ball outside. Campbell and Hutchings both on base have got, and they're doing a double steal. It's called strike. We now got runners at second and third. It's almost like watching Little League or women's baseball. They just get on first and then all of a sudden they're at third. Good running, and that's not giving enough credit to the speed of Hutchings and Campbell. Now we've got 1 out. And Davies lines it to McGarry for a double play. Oh, that's rubbish, umpire. That was a double play. It doesn't get called.
Well done, Sammy.
He certainly hit that hard. Runners took off.
Absolutely out. But he's still there, Matt Hutchings, and also Jake Campbell is still there. So Matt Hutchings takes his time in terms of recovering. He's still there. There's 2 out now. The line drive to Sam McGarry. And an unconverted double play leaves Brett Hattersley at the plate with runners at second and third. And they're still got the opportunity because Hattersley's last at-bat hit the top of the yellow pole down there at left field. So Joel Chapman's fought back to 0-2 on Hattersley, which will mean nothing to Brett Hattersley. He'll judge each pitch on its merit. Looking for one he can hit. There it is. Gallagher will have to play it and does so safely. And fortunately for Joel Chapman, none of the little blips cost him anything. And there were no runs recorded, so there's still a 7-3 lead to Southern Districts. We're in the middle of the 5th. Jamie?
Yeah, just more of the same, Mark, more of the same. More stress. The Eagles just haven't been able to get a cheap innings defensively, and that takes the energy out of your team. It really does. You're trying to fight back from a 7-3 lead, and you feel like you're in the field all the time. So, they'll be looking to get a bit of traffic themselves here and, hopefully put a little bit of scoreboard pressure back. But Nick Hutchins, with this lead, he's not going to die wondering. He's going to go straight at these hitters, so they better be ready.
So we're in the middle of our preparations for the bottom of the 5th, with Nick Hutchings still leading the way for Southern Districts. And he'll be pitching to the number 9 hitter, Balin Thomas, the shortstop. So 31-year-old Nick Hutchings to 18-year-old, is he?
17.
17-year-old Balin Thomas. Of course, none of that counts. When you're here, you're here.
Just caught the outside edge on that one.
1-1. Good piece of it by Thomas, but fouls it back. A ball and 2 strikes. Hutchings certainly hasn't got into trouble issuing free passes, and I think that's the secret. I report every week on the women's baseball, and that is the singular difference between Sturt and the rest of the league. Sturt do not give away free passes, and the rest of the league walk 6, 7, 14 batters, hit batters, That's why Sturter on top in Women's Division 1 baseball. That's why Nick Hutchings is doing so well here. He's not even getting close to being under pressure to walk, and induces a strikeout from young Thomas. There's another 17-year-old in James McFarlane, shortly to head off as well with Bale and Thomas next week for the South Australian team and the under-18 Nationals. Singled in the first inning. Takes the ball inside. It's another little ball that might drop in though, unfortunately. The difference in the outfield speed was palpable there. Hutchings actually got into the ball and took a ball that threatened to flare in for the second out. Unfortunately for McFarlane. The next batter is Tom McGarry, catcher. Once again, the thing for me is how fewer pitches they're forcing him to throw.
It's interesting that Matt Hutchins has actually adjusted his position in centre. He's actually come a bit further forward. They've probably realised that if they're going to hit it well, it's probably going to go over the fence, so they may as well stay in a little bit and catch that flare that it is caught.
McGarry unfortunately rolls over on 2 pitches, and that's exactly what I'm talking about. No run, about 6 pitches, and Hutchings gets out of it. No hits and no runs, and all of a sudden West Torrens are back in the field. So we're still 7-3. We've played 5 innings here at Lockleys. So after 2 absolutely masterful innings by Nick Hutchings, which I think he's thrown less than 12 pitches for 6 outs, we find the top of the 6th, and we've got Joel Chapman leading off with an attempted bunt. Is Kawakama, and that's gone foul. It's a swing. Clavel is under it. Makes the catch for an out off only 2 or 3 pitches. This is a good start by Joel Chapman. As we say, with some level of disappointment, that's probably what's been the difference between the two teams in terms of working over the pitches. But good start there by Chapman. Now we get back to Luke Hansen, second baseman. Called strike from the first pitch, off speed. It's a ground ball, and Hansen is retired. Bring up Ben Short. Chapman pitching to Ben Short, and he's hit that ball high, and there's the sort of innings that West Torrens have been looking for. 3 up, 3 down on, I'm going to say, less than 6 pitches, maybe 6 pitches.
Around that. But that's been the innings West Torrens have been looking for.
They've needed that.
Low stress, out in the field for 6, like you said, 6 pitches, come back in, reset. Got the top of the lineup. Good part of the lineup coming up to hit. You know, they've really got to capitalise now. They don't want to leave it too late.
No, if they're going to come back at all, they've got to start, because, as you say, the Southern District's Hawks have got their input. In fact, I think he might be coming on now to replace Hutchings. Tomo Kawakima is coming on. Nick Hutchings will take a seat after doing a fantastic job for 5 innings. Gave up 5 hits and 3 runs, just the 1 home run, and striking out plenty. So good job by Hutchings.
Yeah, he was brilliant today. You know, 3-run bomb in the first innings. The experience he showed to come back out, put up some zeros, get his team back in the game, and his team haven't let him down by getting him the lead when he's coming out. But he'll be really happy, I think, with that outing after Christmas.
I think it's just comping for the sky, I think. Yeah, it brightens up once it's in the batter.
And here we are back in the bottom of the 6th innings. Southern Districts have made the change. Hutchings has come out. Mason Clavel's in. We've got 2 balls on Clavel. 3 balls to start off the inning. There's a strike, 3-1. It's a swing by Clavel, but it's not deep enough. And it's caught by Luke Hansen. Tomoyo Kawakami. Apologise for mispronouncing that earlier. Kawakami is the pitcher. And Mason Clavel is retired with an F4. And Austin Gallagher comes to the plate. With West Torrens trailing 7-3. Bottom of the 6th. It's inside and taking a piece of Brett Hattersley. Behind the dish is the catcher. Another pitch low and inside, and I can certainly understand why they're erring on that side of the plate to Gallagher, given his first innings heroics. Giving nothing away here, 3-0. He certainly has that Japanese hitch in his pitching stride, doesn't he?
Very traditional Japanese sort of pitching style with the balancing on that back leg.
And Gallagher starts off the 6th innings with a walk after Clavel flew out. So that's 1 out. Bring out Sam McGarrett.
Probably being a little bit too fine. 7-3 lead into the 6th. I think the last thing you want to be doing is putting runners on.
Cannot defend free passes.
You can't defend a walk. I've never seen anyone get out in a walk.
No. You can be lucky and pick up other forms, but McGarry swing early in the count. It's an inside edge. Tips it back for a foul. Iwakami. With 1 out. Bottom of the 6th. McGarry grounds it and rolls it over. It's an attempted double play. He picks up the runner going to second, who's Gallagher. So it was Drew Davies to Jake Campbell, 3-6. It's a fielder's choice, and second out brings Jacob Scott to the plate. Iwakami, very good start. 2 outs. Not conceding any hits, just the walk, 1 walk. And that seemed to me to be a fairly cautious approach on Gallagher for obvious reasons, given his power. Good block from Hattersley. Gary thought briefly about taking off for second, but saw that Hattersley had pretty much trapped that ball. Goes back to first. 1 ball to Jacob Scott. Strike inside. Scotty hasn't had a hit today. Just up, 2-1. Three balls, 1 strike to Jacob Scott. Very much a hitter's count right now.
Well, the runner will be going now. 2 out, full count.
And Scotty comes through with a hit, unfortunately. Straight to Hutchings. So no hits, 2 base runners, one of which was a walk. The fielder's choice took care of him. And a couple of flyouts, and that's all she wrote. So we're now through 6 innings, and West Torrens remain 3. Southern Districts are now 7 runs, 4 ahead. They've had 8 hits to 5. We go into the last third of the game with Joel Chapman on the mound. We'll be back shortly at Lockleys Oval. And welcome back to Lockleys Oval. I'm here with Jamie Thomas. I'm Mark McGarry, your commentator for today. At the moment we're sitting, 6 innings have been completed. At the moment Southern Districts have had 7 runs off 8 hits. West Torrens have had 3 runs off 5 hits, so Southern Districts are leading. We've got Joel Chapman pitching on the mound, and the batter is right fielder Byron Turner as we head into the 7th innings. Just brushes him back. Hung that one up there, but Turner was not able to get enough of it. Has turned it around the corner for a foul. 2 balls, 1 strike.
Joel's done a pretty good job so far, keeping him scoreless in the last 2 innings, and needs another scoreless innings here to keep his team in the game as he walks that lead-off hitter. But they really need to have some cheap defensive innings and put some pressure on offensively.
Ashton Hutchings, number 9 hitter, comes to the plate. The number 8 hitter being given a free pass. And then serves up another hit. That's the 2nd hit of the day for him. Clavel picks the ball up at left field, and we've got a single following the lead-off walk. So all of a sudden, none out, runners at second, and Jay Campbell comes up to play. West Torrens are under pressure again, simply because you can't defend the free passes.
Well, the bottom of the lineup for South's doing their job.
Yep.
Not overpowering the ball, but getting setting the table for the top of the lineup, and this is how you score runs.
Which singularly West Torrens have not done. And there's a good piece of it. There's a tag up by Turner, but he looks to show a little bit of restraint and holds up at second. Hutchings holds up at first as James McFarlane makes the catch and gets the ball into the cutoff. Balin Thomas. So we've got 1 out now, and Matt Hutchings, the middle brother of the three. Back this year from having spent a few years at Goodwood. As I said before, started at Souths. Headed off to Goodwood and returned home for this term, for this season. Another good piece of hitting, and Turner will be held up at third. Nipped Scott's glove, but I'm going to say that's a hit.
Oh, that's definitely a hit. Jacob was never getting to that ball. At the best, he would have maybe knocked it down to reduce it to what it was already. So that's definitely a hit.
So Drew Davies with one out and bases loaded.
Real opportunity here to blow this game right open and pretty much put it to bed.
Chapman tries to entice a swing on a off-speed pitch just off the plate. Taken by Davies for a ball.
I expect they'll probably stick with the off-speed stuff here with Drew, but they're going to have to throw strikes here because there's nowhere to put him.
Nice pitch from Chapman to get a call and go ahead 1-2. So the 12-month anniversary too of this same fixture last year where West Torrens lost their number one pitcher to an injury that required Tommy John surgery, Will Cordicus. Davies has got under that. Sam McGarry's picked it, and they're going for a home. Nevertheless, he's converted it as a sack fly. Just got it deep enough, and McGarry was backpedaling, wasn't able to get enough heat on the ball to come in. Gallagher tried to turn and throw, did so, but McGarry was in no position to affect the tag, given the pace of Jake Campbell.
And that's outstanding running, understanding that it's a second baseman going backwards, not going to be able to throw it hard. I've no doubt that if James McFarlane had gone in and caught that, there's no way he would have tried to take that base.
Exactly. So good read. Another run puts them now 8-3 up. Southern Districts 8, West Torrens 3. They're just going to call that, but I've rarely seen that called, except when an umpire likes to get involved in the game. Sometimes they'll make that call if they're positive that someone didn't touch. And that's no disrespect to Kim. I'm sure he was aware of what was going on. Nevertheless, they do check. It's a bit like the instant replay on the cricket, and you think Smith caught a blinder, and all of a sudden it's a hint of a blade of grass somewhere. 2 balls to Brett Hattersley. And Hattersley gets under that ball, but it's going to find the left fielder, Mason Clavel. And no further damage on the scoreboard, but still another run sends and stretches the lead out to 8-3, with Southern Districts now with 6.5 innings gone, as we all stand for our tribute to America. Just joking.
I'm not singing that.
We'll be back shortly.
toss? Yeah, all right. Yep, I'll do it. Yep, I'll do it.
Right, we're ready to resume hostilities here at Lockley's Oval, where currently Southern Districts are 8 from 10 hits. West Torrens are 3 from 5 hits. It's the bottom of the 7th. Kawakima, the Southern Districts import, is pitching to Joel Chapman. And a called first strike. And Chapman lays one out. It's just going to go foul if it's not caught. It does. And isn't caught. So he falls behind 0-2. Another lead-off pitcher, a lead-off hitter, sat down by the Southern District's pitcher. Good pitching. Hutchings has dominated. Kawakima is a formidable opponent. Jude Barker up to bat. 7, 8, 9 for West Torrens in the lineup.
Bullshit.
So a called swing on Jude Barker.
Certainly not wasting any time here. Just going straight after him. 5 straight strikes.
It's made it about 2/3 of the way to where Drew hit it. All right, 0-2. One ball, 2 strikes on Jude Barker. Giving Brett Hattersley a bit of a work over there behind the dish with the last 2 pitches. Trying to induce a swing from Barker. 2-2. Another good piece of it, unfortunately, straight to the field.
Souths have looked very, very solid in the field. Haven't looked like making an error today. Which is a good reason why they're 8-3 up. Yep.
We've got 2 out here, and the number 9 hitter, Balin Thomas, playing shortstop today. He's up to bat. And has a crack at the first pitch. Got a piece of it, but comes back behind the plate for a foul and a first strike. Kimmer finds the edge of the plate for a called strike 2. In fairness, that's probably about 15 strikes in a row. Can't give the umpire any reason to. I think you're right, Nick's nursing that shoulder a bit. Looking down there at him, Nick Hutchings. Right, that's 7 innings done. Another 0 for West Torrens. Excellent pitching. 8 runs to 3 lead to Southern Districts. Joel Chapman to come back out in the 8th as Southern Districts lead this 8-3. We'll be back shortly. Here we are in the top of the 8th with Chapman to Kawakima. Called strike. Southern Districts leading 8 runs to 3. And an inside-out hit that's going to bloop down, and
he's going to
turn it into a double.
No, he's not.
Which he was a bit greedy there. Well,
probably
fair enough.
A little ambitious, but you know.
So a single and caught stealing 9-4. Sorry, 7-4. But yeah, maybe thought, well, what have we got to lose with a 5-run lead? And
he's certainly got some pace about him, and I think he was just trying to catch him napping. I don't think anyone was actually expecting him to go to 2, but
Sam McGarry thankfully was alert, and Mason Pickard didn't waste time getting rid of it. There's another pop-up. Gallagher's having a look at it, but it just makes it over the fence for a foul. It's a ground ball by Hanson to Sam McGarry at first base, and it's a regulation out, 4-3. So the cue's almost in the rack for Souths. Hoping to wind this up with another 6 outs, and quickly at that. Ben Short has an inside pitch, called strike. One's off the plate for a 1-on-1. Third baseman Ben Shaw's had a great game today. Picked up a couple of hits. Been immaculate at third. Chapman throws a hanging breaking ball, which is chipped over the head of third base for a single to Mason Clavell out at left field. Bringing up right fielder Byron Turner with 2 outs, an 11th hit for the day, 12th hit for the day. South, they've been dominant. I have to give them credit. Absolutely taken it to the West Torrens pitching. And were deserving their 8 runs to 3 lead. And there's a ball out to right field. First pitch, swinging, caught by Jude Barker. No further damage on the scoreboard, 0. So it's still 8 runs to 3. West Torrens have got 6 outs to try and manufacture at least 5 to push the game into the next innings.
And the 8-3 scoreline, Mark, I think is probably a little bit flattering to West Torrens, to be honest, with the amount of traffic that South have had. Boy, they could have really blown it out. They've had a few opportunities to put a lot of runs over the board and haven't really capitalised. West Torrens will be happy about how they've restricted them, but just haven't not really given a yelp since that first inning as far as the offence goes.
We'll be back shortly to talk you through the bottom of the 8th innings. Southern Districts 8, West Torrens 3. And here we are back at Lockleys Oval. Bottom of the 8th innings. West Torrens get back to the top of their lineup with James McFarlane, the lead-off hitter. He got a hit earlier in the game at the beginning, which led to one of the 3 runs being scored when Austin Gallagher put the ball over the fence. Trailing by 5 at this point. West Torrens just need to create some base traffic on the base paths. So they'll take any hits they can get at the moment. Hopefully James has got one in his back pocket. A ball on a strike on McFarlane. And a swing and a miss leaves West Torrens with 1 out. Wishing James all the best as he heads off to Sydney for the national titles next week. He's certainly in good nick. And, it's been his season after the incumbent centre fielder Jasper Clark declared that he needed a season off. Created the opening that McFarlane needed. He's come in and grabbed it with both hands and has done an excellent job out there this season, and he's been batting really well. So certainly a big future ahead of young James McFarlane. Catcher Tom McGarry, 1 strike down, 2 strikes down. Very nearly strike 3. 1 ball, 2 strikes. 2-2. Good contact and a great effort by young Hutchings. Doesn't quite make it, so McGarry will end up with a stand-up double, which his teammates will be grateful for. And if they're going to get any runs back, that's the sort of thing they need to look for.
Yeah, that was a great hit. Goes with the ball here, 2 strikes. That was an outstanding effort in left field. Oh, he's nearly got that. But, you know, you're 8-3 up. You're diving for that every day of the week.
Every day of the week, yeah. All right, that brings up Mason Clavel now with 1 out. McGarry out there at second base with a double. First hit conceded by Kiwakama. Just up and inside for a ball. Clavel had a red-hot crack at that pitch. Does not make contact. 1 ball, 1 strike. Ball's fouled back to the first base side. Ball and 2 strikes on Mason Clavel, who's the starting pitcher in today's game. He left the game ahead 3-2. Two balls, 2 strikes. 1 out, runner at second. Mason Clavel. Just too good. K2, 2 out. Brings up Austin Gallagher.
Throwing a lot of off-speed pitches here, which is making his fastball seem a little harder than what he probably actually is throwing it. A couple of guys a bit behind on that fastball because they're seeing so much off-speed stuff. This is a really good pitching effort.
No prizes for guessing Gallagher's intent. Swinging strike. Doesn't quite get it.
Oh, I don't know. That is travelling. That is
another
gone.
one. And I didn't thought he got it.
Oh, look, I'll tell you, I was with you, Mark. I didn't. I thought he got it a little bit on his hands, but he's a big unit, and the ball is travelling a little bit today. So,
well, that's his second multiple hit game and multi-home run game. As Austin Gallagher touches the plate and brings home Tom McGarry and brings the score back to 8-5 with 2 out in the bottom of the 8th innings. Sam McGarry now gets the opportunity to try and get on base. Been on base with a fielder's choice. Matt Hutchings made a big effort to get that ball, but it was well over. Called first pitch, called strike. Sam McGarry, 1 ball, 1 strike. Ball in the dirt on the inside of the plate. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out. Bottom of the 8th, 8-5 ball game. And a roll over to Drew Davies ends the innings with just the 2 runs. A welcome 2 runs, but Gallagher is responsible for all the scoring today. He's hit 2 home runs, one with 2 runners on, and the second one with just the 1 runner on, for all 5 runs batted in. 7 hits to 12, 5 runs to 8 as we go into the last. And we'll be back shortly.
Like around 8 the latest, but I guess we're not going to get that far. Yeah, top of the night. Sick. Simon might need to keep the thing with you. You know, right, so do you want to come witness it?
We're back at Lockleys Oval, where we're about to begin the 9th innings, where Southern Districts are leading West Torrens 8 runs to 5. There's been a bit of a shuffle from coach Andrew Scott. Joel Chapman, who has been pitching, I think he threw nearly 4 innings, has been taken out of the game, and he's been replaced on the mound by the 3rd baseman, Jacob Scott.
What are you doing?
To cover his absence, Balin Thomas, who's playing at shortstop, has moved to 3rd, and Nico van der Linden has come into shortstop. Van der Linden started in B grade today, had a great game. He's back in here. So it's Jacob Scott to Ashton Hutchings. Hutchings fouls that back. He's got that steely-eyed look about him, like all the Hutchings hitters. One. Nice off-speed pitch from Scott. Induces a swing through by Hutchings. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Just off, 2-2. And there's a foul tip out.
That's just how you pronounce it in German, like normally.
And Ashton Hutchings is retired for the first out in the 9th innings, bringing up the lead-off hitter, Jake Campbell. Campbell's had a fantastic game today. Speed on the bases is extraordinary, and he's been able to parlay that into runs and causing havoc on the base paths. Jacob Scott will be trying to stop that. As he throws the first pitch in for a strike, which is fouled back by Campbell. Campbell's been immaculate at shortstop today, backing up his pitching staff. Ball, 1 ball, 1 strike. It's a swinging bunt. Picked up at third by Balin Thomas for a foul. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Just off 2 and 2. Yet another example of a 2-strike hitting by Southern Districts, and they've done it all day. Campbell just pops that through the gap between shortstop and third for a single to left field. And we've got base paths active again. And I'm guaranteeing you this pitch he will steal. Matt Hutchings, the number 2 hitter. He's in the box. Jacob Scott pitching. There he goes. Tom McGarry picks it up. Ball doesn't beat Campbell, who was there by 2 metres.
He's quick, real quick.
So Hutchings with 1 out and a runner in scoring position. Top of the 9th innings. Fouls that one away. Down the first base side. 2 strikes. And induces the K2 as Hutchings tries to pick up the bonus run. And with an 8-3 lead, 8-5 lead, you can't blame him for that. Everything they tack on here will be another nail in the coffin. Drew Davies is drawn up, the star of the game today. Cincinnati prospect, Adelaide Giants squad member, facing Jacob Scott. And he gets one off the Q-tip out to Mason Clavel at left field for a single. So we've got runners at first and third, 2 out. Top of the 9th inning, and Eagle killer Brett Hattersley coming to the plate. Hatters has had at least 2 hits today, one of which hit the foul pole for a 3-run bomb. Off the plate for a ball.
If the Eagles got any chance in this game at all, they need to be able to get out of this inning without any damage to the scoreboard here.
And that's
going to score them.
That'll be the game right there. Hutchings once again, not Hutchings, Hattersley once again just puts it up there, and for his 3rd of the game, another RBI. The Torrens have simply struggled to get runners, batters out, keep runners off the base. So 13 now. Sorry, 9. 15 hits is what I was looking at. 9 runs to 5. 15 hits to 7. 2 out. Kiwakama at bat. And he ropes it out to right field, where Jude Barker is going to pick it up and throw it to home, where Tom McGarry drops the ball. For a 10th run and a 16th hit. Luke Hanson at the plate with 2 out.
Good throw coming in, but it's just short up, and he just couldn't quite get in the glove. It's a tough one for the catcher. He would have wanted that bouncing well before his glove. Oh, that's going to stay in.
And that's a swinging bunt, but unfortunately the 2 runs that West Torrens scored, they've just given straight back. And probably sums up the nature of this game. And it's now 10-5. Probably a fair result, to be honest, Jamie. As you said, they probably Southern Districts probably could be a lot further ahead had all the base traffic been capitalised on.
Yeah, they've been simply outstanding offensively today. They haven't given our pitchers any relief whatsoever. Any chance of when we've had a few innings where we've got the first 2 outs cheaply, the next guy will walk or he'll grind out a hit, or they've just given no relief to the pitchers whatsoever. And that wears on them, and as it's seen, we're into our 4th pitcher.
And I am probably overstating it, but the number of 0-2 pitches that they've hit, or they've had 2 strikes on the batter, and they've just come up with a hit. And West Torrens just singularly have not done that today, with the exception maybe of Austin Gallagher. Tom McGarry had a good at-bat, James McFarlane had a good at-bat, but take those out, there's been almost nothing. And championships are not made with anemia in the offence. You've got to be able to fight back. What they are made up of is sterling defence and good pitching, not giving away free passes, setting up the opposition batting team, getting out of cheap innings, and that's what one has to compliment Southern Districts on for doing today, that they've been able to stop any effort or any attempt by West Torrens to do that. I'm not for a second suggesting West Torrens haven't been trying to do that, but they just have been not able. A bit like the Australian batting lineup facing Jasper Bumrah. They've tried, but they just haven't been capable.
Yeah, you've got to tip your cap to South today. They've played the game how it's meant to be played and put the pressure on, and they thoroughly deserve the lead that they've got at the moment.
Singularly the biggest result I've seen. I've been at West Torrens now since 2006. I don't think I've seen the Southern Districts win by this much against West Torrens. In fact, I've only seen them beat us once. That was last year maybe, or 2 years ago.
Well, they beat us last year on a Drew Davies home run, I reckon. Hit the top of the fence from memory, because I was commentating with you that day. But they've been... certainly in recent years, always tight games with South. This one's probably been the most one-sided game for a number of years.
And yes, it's only 5 runs, but as I said, 16 hits to 7 would suggest a lot more control of the game than maybe even the 5 runs suggests. But still, Kiwakama again now to Jacob Scott. It's his opportunity to get something back. 3 outs required. I'm willing to tip Jack Van Linnell will have the scoreboard cleared within 2 minutes of the game finishing. There's a nice line drive, but straight to shortstop. Jake Campbell.
When things don't go your way, they really don't go your way. He's got a good piece of that. And it has gone straight to the shortstop.
Bring up Nico van der Linden. And he rolls over the first pitch to third. 5-3. And just the final out to be made now with Jude Barker. Really, it's been a comprehensive shellacking by Southern Districts. West Torrens have done well to score 5. Well, in fact, Austin Gallagher scored 5. But beyond that, there hasn't been a lot. Foul back by Jude Barker. And Barker pops the thing straight up, and Jake Campbell will come in and make an easy catch to wind the game up. There you go. 10-5 final result, and one certainly cannot argue with the emphatic nature of it. I don't think I've seen a more comprehensive performance from a Southern Districts team, and they just showed the way today. The pitching was outstanding from both Hutchings and Kiwakama. Their hitting under pressure was outstanding, and they were immaculate in the field. You really can't say much more about the performance of Southern Districts. As for West Torrens, they had a couple of lights. Obviously, Austin Gallagher was outstanding with his 2 home runs, and thankfully, otherwise it would have been over a while ago. Pitching, obviously, they're struggling with. Mason Clavel didn't do a bad job, got through his first 3 innings, just 2 runs, but then started to cave in. Joel Chapman did a good job holding the fort for 3 or 4 innings in the middle there. But clearly that's an area that West Torrens need to pick up. They didn't make too many errors in the field today, not that they had that were put under any of that sort of pressure. But certainly the ability to get the out with the batter on 2 strikes was clearly evident today. And hats off to Southern Districts, who were able to convert what was the opportunity that they had today, and I was quite right. Jack Van der Linden's got that scoreboard almost clear within 2 minutes. So, Jamie, summarise it up before we sign off for the day and see how we go.
Oh, look, you just have to put it down to Southern Districts. They played an immaculate game today. You know, West Torrens had a few chances, but, you know, I tip my cap to South. That's probably the best South team I've seen for a while in the last few years. They've always had potential and talent, but they look very well rounded, and you know, they're going to potentially finish top 3 and be, if they can play that sort of baseball come finals time, they're going to be really tough to beat. So
well, Sturt were mercied today, so that will put them clear in second position, depending on what happened at Woodville.
Well, yeah, Woodville was having a tight game with Glenelg, but I think they may have got over them.
But Woodville first, so that puts Glenelg, that puts Souths into second spot outright. Yeah. West Torrens now will be relying on other results, whether they've held 5th place or whether they drop down to 5th or 6th. Their challenge remains. They've got East Torrens here next Saturday, and on the strength of that, they've got a lot of work to do. But the good news and the upside for West Torrens is that Master Sawada will be back and will help their cause pitching wise.
Indeed.
The downside, of course, is they won't have James McFarlane, who did a great job out at centre field and got a hit early. And they won't be without Balin Thomas and
Austin Gallagher will also be away. He'll be away with the state team. They'll be missing a few, but you know what? It just gives someone else a chance, and they've just got to play better baseball.
Indeed, that's what the coach challenge is. All right, well, that wraps it up here at Lockley's Oval. We had Southern Districts running our deserved winners 10-5. I'd like to say thank you for joining us today. I'm Mark McGarry. I've been joined by Jamie Thomas today. Thanks, Jamie, and thank you all for watching. We'll see you next time at the ballpark.